All right, this one we had a younger patient who had a trauma from a baseball injury. It had a pretty straightforward endo case, but I think you'll see that in utilization of the EdgePRO, the safety, the efficiency of it during this case went very smoothly. Access the case, necrotic case, immediately upon access, we incorporated the EdgePRO for disinfection, kind of remove that coronal biofilm, bioburden in there. 2 files for the case that we used, finished with a 4008 Edge Evolve. It was I believe 27, 28 millimeter long tooth. Then we followed that up once again with the Edge Solutions, the EdgePRO Solutions protocol using the 17 millimeter number 1 tip 200 micron. I went through the disinfection protocol with that, obturated the case, and ended up with a beautiful result again. Picked up a little lateral canal with it as well. All right, so starting tooth number 6 from trauma. And for positioning, I always have the cart right beside me, and then the EdgePRO is off onto the side following access, and I'll slide the cart down and move the EdgePRO right into positioning there for me. So start here, tooth number 6. Again, I like a flame-shaped diamond for most of my accesses. Round burrs, carbides, too much chatter, runoff with that. We'll start very conservative with a small flame shape. Just make a few millimeters into the dent end, and you can adjust as needed. Good. The Explorer. Good. A little more. I'll make the access just palatable to the incisal edge. I'm going to stay off the incisal. Okay. So this is a necrotic case. So I'm finished with the access. This is a necrotic case for all necrotic teeth following access before any instrument is introduced into it. We're going to run our conditioning step in there. We want to remove as much of the biofilm in the coronal portion as possible. So we're going to pull the EdgePRO over and come in here with my number 3. And again, run our conditioning right in the chamber. Again, I do this for about 45 seconds, and this is water only. My assistant's managing my mirror, blowing air on my mirror through the scope as we go. It's not necessary, as you don't really have to, you don't have to be too dialed in to see here. You just want to avoid touching too structure at all with it. Just stay in the chamber. Again, you have the clock going on the EdgePRO to let you know how long you've been running it. You doing okay there, Roman? Good. This is a very large canal. Again, there's this misconception that we have from our historic literature that we have to use files to touch the canal walls. And that was at one point the case. To remove biofilm, you need to either mechanically remove it, scraping it with canal walls, or now we have the shear force from our laser that creates the cavitational bubbles in there to create the fluid dynamics to break up that, I mean, a long tin. So now I've gone in there with the conditioning step. I'm gonna hand me another mirror. Come in here with a tin file. We're just gonna drop it in. Get our apex locator on. drops right to length. So our length here is 28. Okay. So I'm going to come in with the 2006 X7. And again, Nikki is going to remove any debris from the flutes as we go. And to the head of the handpiece here is about 27, right where I want to be. So we drop that in there. Great. And so you can stop right there and go to your next step with the laser and start the disinfection phase. Or if you want to come in with a little larger file, again, you're in complete control here. If you feel more comfortable doing that initially, you can. And I'll just kind of show you that. This is the Edge Evolve. This is a 4008, limited flute diameter, 1 millimeter, the Edge Evolve, different cross section. We can come in here, 4008, we can drop that in. See, we pulled out some necrotic debris with that. Could have been flushed out with our laser, but leave that in there. Okay, and so that's all the instrumentation that I want to do. Right there, two files had the X7, 2006, and then I bumped up to the 4008 Edge Evolve with a limited flute diameter. And we're going to bring our laser back over. We're going to do the mid-root protocol. I'm going to change out my tips. So I had the number 3 on, 500 micron. We're going to drop down to the number 1, which is a 200 micron, 17 millimeter. Even though this is a 27 millimeter tip, I don't need to go bigger. You can, we're going to mid-root only. No, on this one. So I'm going to fill it up, hypochlorite. And again, we're just going to review here. This is one way you can do it. You fill it up, grab the laser, you're going to insert it.
Okay.
And we're going to our mid-root protocol. Turn to the left just a bit. I'm going to activate on my way out. You can see the agitation going on. The bubbles will splatter. Nikki can just blow a little air on my mirror there. Kind of clean it. There you go. Hypo again. We can just do this little toggle back and forth. How you doing? Okay, Roman? Good. Okay, Nikki's gonna get the smear clear next. Feeling anything? Great. No, not feeling anything at all. So if you do it this way here, you will have to replenish. You always want your tip to be in some type of fluid, some type of irrigant. Now I say, anytime you say always, there's always an exception. And the exception is if I'm doing a number 8 or number 9 that's been traumatized, wide open apex, then I will run it in dry mode. There's quite a bit of research showing the efficacy of using the laser in the dry mode for bacterial reduction. And that is one time that I will run it with in the dry mode only on those cases. Hypo back. So we've gone a couple rounds of smear clear. I can aspirate that out, microsuction. You can look, see how clean everything's already looking. Very good. So you can see our instrumentation here took this probably under a minute for instrumentation. The rest of our time, which is what it should be, is spent disinfection here. Over the years, we've focused too much on the instrumentation and less on our disinfection. This now gives us the ability to focus on what matters. One more time. Still doing good there, Roman? Great. Okay. So our disinfection there, I'm going to let that soak for a few minutes while Nikki gets the cones and everything. She already has that out and ready to go. So we've got our sealer mixed. And so we can move on to our next step here. And we're going to do a final rinse out here, then we'll be ready to obturate this case. So I'm going to come back to the conditioning step that we did to start with. I'm going to do a final rinse here to remove the irrigants. This is just coming back with the water only. So Nikki again manages my mirror. And it's real important that you always make sure that the fiber is passive inside the canals. You don't want to touch any of the canal walls, chamber, and if there's always irrigant inside there, like I said. You see there's not much splatter here when you properly manage the field. A little suction there, a little air on your mirror, Stropco, easily managed. About 15 more seconds here. Okay, so we're finished the laser. We'll roll it out of the way. I'm gonna roll my cart back over. Micro suction in there. Nikki's gonna give me paper points. Preset at 28. You see how Nikki just slides them right into my hand, oriented in the right direction. I just drop them right in the canal. A couple more. One more. And a long 15. Great. I come back, like I said, I like to confirm links before I obturate. Hand me the other mirror, my ruler. Apex locator back on. The solid tone on the apex locator, good. Off the cusp tip. 28, didn't change at all. So if we don't take our instruments long, then we're not gonna blow the constrictor. Our length should pretty much stay the same from when we start to when we finish, especially now that we're using smaller instruments. Again, curve sealer. This cone is a little too large coronally, so we're going to drop down to a more tapered cone. Remember that file that we used had a limited flute diameter, and so that cone was continuous. Let's see the other mirror. 27, good, sealer. See another one of these. Let me see another 4004. I'm gonna slide a little, because it's such a big canal, another cone right in beside it. And we're gonna come in here. A little steady down pressure, doing okay? System B. Come with our backfill sealer. And some of the ones that are a little longer in, I like to dip a little sealer on the cone, on the end of the Obtura hot shot. A little water here. We're going to clean off some of the residual sealer. And for cleanup, again, you can use a post drill, piezo, an old traditional file that you cut off, and you can see how it just spins out GP. Black plugger. X-ray. Let me see the Explorer real quick. Black plugger again. Okay, let's get a quick X-ray. ETOH. Yeah, clean the chamber. Okay, so we're going to come with a white brush. I'm going to come with our phosphoric acid etch. A good scrub. Remove any of that residue, sealer residue. And rinse. All right, bond. Okay, we're going to come in with our bond now. White. Okay. Again, stitch-in bonding agent. Light. Black plugger. Hang on one second. So we're going to come in on this one here and use a dual cure in the apical portion because it's pretty far down. So I like to use this rather than relying on my light solely to cure. And then we'll come and layer that again with our packable composite. All right, smooth this up and that's it. I'm going to relieve that tooth just a little bit in a few areas. From the trauma, it was extruded a little bit. And he's hitting a little heavy. I just want to adjust this. And we've got ortho on, working on intrusion here. Okay. Very good.